just like clockwork, we're getting a lot of bearish news before earnings. Now, I do want to say I believe there is some truth to this news right here, but it's not as bad as people think. Let's take a closer look, and we're going to also look at other AI companies and other semiconductor news, as well as just in the past 24 hours, there's so much that needs to be discussed. So let's get started.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first, let's start off here with Nvidia. We can see pre-market, and depending on when you watch this video, maybe throughout the day it might be red, but we're getting kind of bearish news impacting the overall stock. Now, earnings are next week, and usually it seems like clockwork. Every week or so before earnings, we get some bearish news that could impact the AI thesis for Nvidia. Last time, it was kind of the slowdown of data center spending. The other time was kind of the DeepSeek moment. The moment before that was, is AI a real solution, right? So the Blackwell delays, and the list goes on and on, going to other competitors, seeing growth from ASIC plays. There's always a bearish thesis right before earnings. And this one is no different. This earnings, the bearish thesis going into earnings is that Nvidia has asked suppliers to halt production of its H20 chip. Now, a quick reverse rewind. For those that are not familiar, the H20 is a special type of chip that Nvidia makes that is meant for the Chinese market. It's a watered down version of the Hopper. Now, recently it was kind of banned in China, but now with the what many call the mafia tax from the Trump administration, all Nvidia has to do is pay 15% of sales to the H20, and you can kind of send it to China. Now, there are a lot of things, for example, US officials kind of making fun of China in a way, saying that we're only sending them the weak chip. It's only to kind of keep them dependent into our technology ecosystem. And reports are saying that obviously China doesn't like it. So China turns against Nvidia's AI chip after insulting Lutnick remarks, right? So Lutnick was saying that, again, the only reason we're sending those chips is to keep US dependent on China. Now, China is saying that, look, that's for national security. The H20 is not that efficient in forms of power. We want a better chip from the United States. If not, there's no deal. So there are reports that China is now banning or pushing companies not to use the H20. Now, you kind of put these two news together side by side, and you're getting the story that makes sense. You're getting it, right? So you're getting a ban from China, and then Nvidia is stopping the H20 production. Ding, ding, ding. It seems like this is the truth. Well, I don't think that's necessarily what's happening here. What I think is happening is, remember, the production of chips take time. It's not like I ask for a chip right now and I get the chip tomorrow. It's a month process. It's a few quarter process for certain chips. For other chips, it could actually be longer. I think what's happening here, and these are just my predictions, feel free to share yours, is Nvidia is getting ready to ship the B30, or the next generation of kind of watered down AI chips, to China. To do that, first, they need to say, look, we're not going to be sending the H20 anymore. We have plenty of inventory, and whatever type of inventory you have of raw materials as a supplier, keep building that, but don't go any further than that, right? No more of producing chips, because 6-7 months from now, I don't need them anymore, as we will be shipping the B30. So I think it is true that they're asking suppliers to halt production. I don't believe it's true that the H20 is going to be banned in China. And if it is, it's just because the B30 is going to be coming pretty soon. And we are hearing reports that Nvidia is in talks with US to sell a more advanced chip to China, Jensen Huang says yesterday. So yesterday, he was in Taiwan, and one of the questions. So he is currently in dialogue with the United States government about offering new products to China. This is not new news. When kind of Trump talked about the H20, he also mentioned that Jensen was going to be coming over to talk about the next generation of Blackwell and kind of the AI chip from that. So this is not necessarily new news, but what I think is happening right now is NVIDIA is asking suppliers to halt production of new H20s, so new materials they're not going to need. Instead, halt that production. Whatever you have right now, keep on making. We're going to sell that to China. But eventually, we need to upgrade to the B30. And I think we are getting closer to that being true. And I do believe the B30A is going to be allowed to be sent to China. So I think if the sell-off is because of the NVIDIA H20 news, I think this is dumb. It's completely dumb. Now, I'm pretty excited about earnings throughout the next upcoming days. I will be doing an earnings preview, so make sure to stay tuned to the channel, Zane Naharo Stocks. We're trying to hit 75,000 subs by the end of the year. I think we're going to get there. We're at 74,000 already. If we can get 75,000 before NVIDIA's earnings, that would be amazing. So we need an extra 250 subs to kind of hit that mark. So we'll appreciate thumbs up and check out my overall newsletter, What the Chip Happened, where I do have semiconductor news when it matters. Now, the next piece of news that's coming out is, again, maybe let's rewind a little bit. The United States is giving subsidies and grants to semiconductor manufacturing domestically. And recently, it says the U.S. examines equity stake in chip makers for CHIPS Act cash grants, sources say. We're getting reports that Intel, for example, Trump administration weighs in a 10% stake in Intel via CHIPS Act. Now, this is pretty interesting because it's gotten a lot of people thinking, and we can see some officials are saying that Trump administration is looking for equity in other companies that are receiving the CHIPS Act. TSMC reportedly is considering returning U.S. government subsidies if they have to give up any equity. And I believe this should be true, right? I mean, I think a lot of these companies like the grants and they're building here, but they don't need it to survive. TSMC, I don't think they're going to ask for they're not going to ask for equity from TSMC or other players. I think this is just a lot of noise. And if it is true, I think TSMC is going to say, here, you can take your money. I'm not going to give you any of my shares or equity, just because obviously we are a foreign company as well. So I would say we're going to keep a closer eye on this. I think the only one that kind of makes sense might be Intel, but I've talked about it in the past. I wouldn't be happy if Intel gets to 10%, has to give up 10% equity to the United States due to CHIP Act cash grants, right? That's completely, in my opinion, unfair. And as we've seen, anything run by the government usually sucks. So I would be betting more on against Intel if they had kind of government ownership. Even though we've seen kind of like the 10% ownership that the United States government wants to own is going to be like non-voting rights or anything. It's just pretty much an equity stake. Still, it just doesn't feel right for me. So I wouldn't be bullish if that was to happen. I don't own Intel, but it would be interesting to see how this plays out over time. Now, the next topic, we're actually going to jump into Nvidia. So Nvidia Robotics about 20 hours ago, and it's crazy how Nvidia has so many damn Twitter and X accounts, but they mentioned unboxing loading on August 25th of 2025. And the video is pretty much just Jensen saying to robot, enjoy your new brain. And we see kind of a new robot, a robot opening the box. Now, obviously, we don't know what's going to be there. We just have to wait, 3 days right now to kind of get the news. But what I think is happening is we know NVIDIA has kind of AI hardware for the robotic space, right? They have their H100s, their B200s, their B300s for the data centers. They have their NVIDIA Drive solutions for their autonomous vehicle solutions. And for those that are not familiar, they have their Nvidia Jetson platform for the robotics market. This is not anything new. What I think we're getting is most likely an upgraded version of this, the Nvidia Jetson Thor. I don't think it's going to be anything revolutionary that we're going to get from this. I think it's just going to be either, I don't know if this one, the Jetson Thor, is already announced publicly. I know they have it on their public website, but I don't know if we have an actual spreadsheet for it. But if you place your order here, we can see that the Jetson T5000 is one that's based on NVIDIA's Blackwell architecture. This is the first tier. The other ones are based on Ampere, and I don't think they actually did one for the Hopper platform. But I think it's going to be either the Jetson T5000 module or an updated version of this with the Blackwell Ultra architecture that they are going to announce. So for those that are not familiar, this is a chip that is used for the robotic space. This is kind of the brain. It is powered with some form of GPU solutions as well as some form of ARM-based CPU that they use. So if I was to guess, it's going to be some form of iteration of the Nvidia Jetson. I don't think it's going to be anything that should move the stock at all. Now, if it's a completely revolutionary product, I would have expected them to announce something like this in GTC and not just some random quick video like this. So I think it's some small launch like the Nvidia Jetson Thor. So nothing that I would be too excited about. Now, there is a great kind of semiconductor journalist out there, and he posted something about Jensen's, the CEO of NVIDIA, visit to Taiwan on Friday. And one of the things that they talked about was Jensen mentions my main purpose is to visit TSMC. As you know, we have a next generation architecture called Reuben, and Reuben is very advanced. And we have now taped out 6 brand new chips to TSMC. So all of these chips are now in TSMC fabs. This includes kind of a new CPU, new GPU, and let's see, new scale up NVLink switch, networking switch, and silicon photonics processor. So a few days ago or a few weeks ago, we kind of saw rumors that Nvidia Reuben was delayed, right? I think we kind of got those rumors. Nvidia Jensen and the team kind of delayed, kind of rebutted those delays and said that's not true. But now I think this just provides another evidence that the CEO is saying, look, we're going here with Reuben. Things are progressing pretty well. And we're going to be focusing on the 6 new chips that are coming out with the Reuben platform. So I think if you are still worried about Reuben delays, I don't think you should be, right? I think we're having plenty of evidence that shows that that is not true. Now, the final topic I want to take a closer look at, actually, there's 2 more topics. The next topic is Meta platforms and Google. So Google after hours is up about 1.5%. The main reason is this. It does seem like Meta signs over a $10 billion cloud deal with Google, reported by The Information. So Google has been making a nice amount of big AI wins. You recently OpenAI signed to Google, and Google being the third, the lowest out of the top 3 in cloud service providers, getting these types of big AI contracts is a big deal. It's going to continue to solidify market share growth for them. It's going to help them continue to invest in AI infrastructure. And the reason Meta is doing this, right? Meta has plenty of money that they're spending on capital expenditure. It seems they just need more and more AI compute. So first, it is bullish for Google, in my opinion, right? It showcases that they're growing in the market share. But I think as an overall sentiment to the AI market, we can see that no matter how much money you're spending on capital expenditure, we know Meta is expected to spend a nice amount of billions of dollars this year, closer to 70, and next year closer to $100 billion. Even with that type of capex, they're still compute constrained. So they have to look in not only internal sources, but they have to find external sources as well. And actually, I thought I had one more topic, but I do not. So yeah, that's all I have for today's episode. Like I mentioned, I think NVIDIA's news is baloney or false or nothing to really worry about. Short term, the stock can act however it wants, right? Some people might say, Jose, you're always talking about NVIDIA, but NVIDIA hasn't done anything. I mean, this is a $4 trillion company, more than a many multi-bagger for me. Short term, the stock can do whatever the heck it wants. In the long term, I still believe there is massive growth opportunity for NVIDIA. And I do believe it's going to outperform the market over the next 5 years. And that's what I'm personally always looking to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care. Have a good day and see you all next time.